Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Hi, chatters! Welcome to the CHATTERBIZ podcast. So, today we will be discussing our experience in intercultural communication. But before we start, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Evelyn, as the host for today's podcast.
My name is Nadia.
My name is Cheryl.
Okay, so have you ever traveled abroad? I guess we all have gone to another country that is outside Indonesia. Can you tell us where did you go and do you feel or experience any intercultural communication that maybe make you feel shocked?
I have traveled abroad several times, but the most different was when I traveled outside Asia. The first time I traveled outside Asia was to Australia. It's very different there. The people were weirdly friendly. Like people would just come up to you and compliment your outfit or your hair. It's very different than Indonesia. Also, when we ate at restaurants in there, like in the middle of our meal, the waitress would come up to us and ask how our food was and make small talks to us like for a long time, which is very different here in Indonesia.
Yes, when I travel to China, I felt shocked when I want to ask about direction because they used to ignore me, or when they show the direction, their tone sounds rude and angry. But when I travel to Japan and I ask about direction or something, they look very friendly and their tone of voice is very soft. Their voice are small and when they speak, they look shy. I feel shocked a bit because in my country in Indonesia looks very different from the style of speech, etc.
Okay, wow. Such a shocking experience, I guess. Okay, let's say that you go to a country that you don't understand their language, like Cheryl, for example, when you went to China and Japan, which one do you prefer? Having a professional translator or using an online computer translation for your written translation purpose? Which one do you think is better and why do you choose it?
I think it's better to use an online translator because it's more inexpensive, although it will take a moment to translate our sentences.
Well, I also choose to using an online computer translation because for me it is more efficient and online translation is free so I don't need to spend my money. Besides, there are many online translations that are good and accurate now.
Okay. So we have been talking about our experience in communicating with other people who are not from our country. Also, you guys have some culture shock and you're having trouble when you communicate to that person because you don't know their culture. So why don't we give some tips to the chatters who might not be from Indonesia about how to communicate to Indonesians, so that they can prepare when they travel to Indonesia? Okay, tips from me. When you're greeting Indonesian with the same gender, usually we involve a handshake. But in default Muslim, you may not to touch people of the opposite gender. Some Indonesian Muslim women rather place their hand on their heart like this and bow slightly than shaking hands. Or when you want to greeting someone that is older than you have to call them Papa, which is mean Mr. Ibu, which is mean Mrs. or Kakak, which is someone that is elder than you. Because Indonesian has a tight manner, so younger people do not call those older than them by their first name.
For me, my tip is to be respectful and have manners in from your culture, and also learn Indonesian manners like shaking hands, not calling elders by their first name, like what Evelyn just said, and say please and thank yous after or before asking for something. Also, to remember, always use your right hand when grabbing something from someone.
Well, for me is when we want to greet someone for the first time, we can give them a slight note like this and a smile. As we know, Indonesian people are famous for their friendly nature. Another tips is don't forget to say these 3 words. Tolong when you want ask for help, terima kasih when someone help you, and maaf when you make someone upset or you make some mistakes.
Okay, that's all great tips from us as Indonesians. I hope the chatters who aren't from Indonesian can learn how to communicate with Indonesians through this podcast. So, after learning some Indonesian culture and language, what can we do to improve our intercultural communication skills?
For me, the most important thing is to be open minded towards other people's culture. We also need to spend extra time learning about their culture beforehand. We also should be self aware enough by paying attention to their reactions and body language towards our conversations. And lastly, we should not make jokes that is related to their culture.
There are many ways to improve our intercultural communication skills, but for me, the most important thing is we must learn and find more about the culture and the language, such as the dialect, through internet or people who already know, so there are misunderstandings and we can understand better.
Okay, that's right. In addition, you can also helping others to adapt to your culture, like help to simplify the communication process or look for opportunities to help so that they can easily adapt to our culture. Don't underestimate or make fun of them because they're still learning. So is it it is okay if they cannot use the language or the culture perfectly. Okay, so I guess that's all for today's podcast. Thank you for the chatters who have already watched this video. We apologize for any mistakes that we might have made. You can comment down below and tell your experience about intercultural communication or culture shock when you travel abroad. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, click the bell button to turn on the notification so you guys don't miss our new video. See you guys next time on our next episode with the ChatterBiz podcast. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.